Well, good morning everybody and welcome back to the channel. So this morning we had to go look at some excavating work to do. So we're getting a little bit of a late start here. But got the combines all blowed off and we're moving to the next farm. I put that hood back over the center of the head there to keep the ears from flying out. So if it becomes a problem when I get into the burr cucumber and it bunches up there in the center, what I'm going to do now is just loosen up the nuts on each side and just flip that cover up on top of the feeder house and just leave it on there. As far as leaves and stuff piling up, I'm just going to have to deal with it. I'd rather have that cover on there, or hood, or whatever you want to call it. I'd rather have that on there than big ears of corn flying out. So, kind of a odd deal. I don't know why it throws ears out like it does. I mean, our case heads don't have them and they don't throw ears out like that. So I'm going to talk to Drew about it and see if maybe if I bolt them rubber flaps on those, there's some tabs welded to that. Maybe if with those rubber flaps bolted on, maybe it won't throw ears out. I don't know. There's got to be a reason that they put that hood on there. So, but you'd think with the rubber flaps it would throw them out even worse. Maybe I should just cut the tabs off. They are factory John Deere. They're not something that somebody welded on there. Maybe if I just cut them off and smooth out the tube or the auger where they were welded on, maybe that'll solve the problem. I won't have to run that hood. Something I'll have to experiment with later. So, but anyways, we're gonna get moved. This is this used to be a road right here until the county abandoned it. And now it's just a right of way to get back to this one field. So we'll get through here. It's kind of narrow. We'll get through here, we'll get out on the road, and we'll head to the next field. So we'll get some video when we get there. So this is our last good day of good weather before it starts to rain. It's supposed to rain this evening late, which today is Thursday. It's supposed to rain through Thursday night and all day Friday. I'm hoping we got some decent weather for this weekend coming. I'm going to pick some ear corn for the cows. So I done a little poll here on YouTube in the community section, and a lot of viewers voted for the old WD to be put on the ear corn picker, and a lot voted for Dad's 720 John Deere diesel to be put on the ear corn picker. So we're actually going to be running both them tractors on the ear corn picker, and I might get a couple more out. I don't know. We'll see how things go. We'll see how the weather is. But I want to get that corn picked and get it in the building at Clifton's place so that it doesn't get wet. So that is one of my goals for the weekend. So if we did get a little rain and it shut us down on the big harvest, I wouldn't mind. There's some things I want to catch up on. Like I'd like to work on the Gleaners and see which one of them I can get going again. I'd like to get L2 number 1 going again and pick some corn with that this fall. So the M3, I just need to get the shaft ordered for it. That's no big deal. Swap that shaft out and go again. But so far though, the John Deere 9650 has just been working out wonderful. And like I said, we're not going to quit running the Gleaners totally. It's just you got to remember they're 40-year-old machines, and it's a lot to keep them going to try to cover 2,000 acres. I know we got to 2388, but I was relying pretty heavy on an old Gleaner to pick up the slack. But I've just come to the realization that I'm not getting any younger, and I've been putting in a lot of hours. I need to go with an upgraded combine to cover this many acres, so I just get things done. But like I said, not gonna totally quit using the Gleaners. Just had to take the pressure off of them, that's all. So all right, let's get to the field and get some corn out today. Well, we got all the equipment moved. Let's get started. We need like 6 guys when we move to move all the stuff all at once. It'd be sure would be nice. Need like 6 guys and a church van or a box truck. Everybody just climb in the box truck. We're gonna move equipment. Especially if George is at the elevator. It's one less guy we have to help Dad and I move. Good looking corn here on the high sand. Oh, sorry. There, that's better. Camera mount's a little crooked. Straighten that out a little bit. That's better. Break these ends in, and we're going to pick down one side of this field down to the low ground, and we're going to pick off all the low ground we can today. That way, if we get a lot of rain, we won't have to go back down to the low ground. And if it gets to the point where it's super wet, we'll just leave it, and we'll come back with one of the Gleaners later and pick it with a Gleaner. It's much easier to get one of them out if they get hung up than it is to get one of these big machines out. Another variety of Beck's corn. It's looking really good here on this farm. Alright, so we're down here in the low ground now. A lot of this we hauled some sand in and really firmed this up. Last year it was pretty soft. So last fall we came back late, hauled some sand in. And everywhere I've been out here so far, it's nice and firm. Got some nice corn out here. Got those ears the size of baseball bats on it. Really, it don't take a whole lot of sand to firm the muck up. I think some of these spots out here we only put like 8 to 10 inches in, and then we just kind of dissed it in and planted it. Turned out real nice. Some places we do it different. Some places we'll actually peel the top off, put the sand in, put the top back on it. But out here, didn't take a whole lot of work at all to firm it up. That sand acts like a mat over the top of the muck, but yet the crop, the roots find their way through it and still grows just like there wouldn't be any sand there at all. As long as you got a sand hill close, it's a very effective way to make a field produce. And in some cases, I think putting some sand over the muck is better than trying to put tile in it. Or a lot of cases, you put the sand over the muck, good and thick, and then you come back and tile it, and it's another way to fix it. comments, well, why don't you put tile in some of that ground? Well, for one thing, it's so low lying that there's no fall to be had for the tile, so the water's not going to really go anywhere. And another thing is it's not so much wet, it's just super soft. You don't get stuck in it because it's wet, you get stuck in it because it's super soft. It just won't support the weight of some equipment. You can put all the tile in the world in it, but if it's not firm enough, it's not going to hold equipment up anyways. So that's where the sand comes in. Sand acts like a crane mat. Hopefully the elevator keeps taking corn today. I know they've been filling up quite a bit. I have to wait till overnight so the dryer can catch up. Corn stalks. They're about as tall as the combine cab. Go dump pretty soon. Alright, we'll get some video later on. Well, we're down to our last 8 rows in the iffy conditions. You can see the sand down there between them that we hauled in. We build up along this muck ditch quite a bit. And as you can see, the ear size is still beautiful on these. Got a little bit of bird cucumber here to deal with. Going to have to really watch this spot next year. Definitely adjust our spray program on this farm to take care of that. Bad thing about that stuff is the deer walk through it, it sticks to their fur, and they spread it, the birds eat it, and they spread it that way. It's just a bad deal to get it started. So you gotta nip it in the bud if you know you got it. Dad must have backed in here and planted out to square the corner up. Well, that was no problem at all. The sand made all the difference in the world. Last year that was quite a bit of fun to pick along there. Pretty tight here in the corner. We don't have much ends to turn on. That ditch through the middle of this field really complicates things when you're planting. You end up with rows every which way, but that's about the only way you can plant it. See, like these curve around as they follow in the ditch. Back up on the high sand. One thing I like about the Gleaner heads is they have a lot shorter row dividers, so you can do those turns a lot easier with them. I know a viewer had asked me my opinion on a Gleaner head versus any other head, and other than the open gears and all the roller chain it takes to run them, they're really not bad heads. They're actually very aggressive. I mean, they grab the corn, jerk it right through. You know, and they're not technically a true knife roll head. They're more of a fluted roll, but they use like a small C channel as their flutes on their rolls. And really, they give you kind of the result of a knife roll of a Case IH head. It's not technically a true knife roll, but them heads do good. I mean, there's just a lot of maintenance involved with them. You know, a lot of grease points to grease. The open gears, they seem to last quite a while. I mean, when it comes down to it, they're not bad at all. It's just the maintenance on them. But they work really well. You know, I've got two of them. I've got two, what are they, the 630 black heads, black bottom heads with the open gears. The one is in really good shape, and the other one's not too bad. That's the one with the corn reel on it that come with the M3. It's not too bad, but it needs some work. Now the one that's on the M3 right now, that's the one that came with the L2 that I've been parting out, using parts off of, the one that we nicknamed Tina. That head was pretty good shape, really. And that's also the same one that I ran on the L2 with tracks. But that one with the corn reel that originally came with the M3 that I bought on the auction, that one needs some work. A lot of the tin work's been cracked and welded up with, kind of looks like they welded up the coat hangers. What my plans are is, as soon as I get my new shop, I'm going to take each Gleaner and run it through, fix everything it needs, clean them up really good, do some cosmetics to them, and not so much restore them, but fix them to their I'm gonna leave them in their work clothes, let's put it that way. Might touch up some paint where they're rusty, but other than that, I'm just gonna make them mechanically sound and keep them in the shed. L2 number 1, I've got the cab kit, the upholstery for it. I'm gonna put that in it. Clean the cab up really good. But I'd like to make them mechanically sound. So I'm not going to quit using them. Tina will probably do a full part out on that machine. I mean, it's the older one. It's got the black cab. It's got the short shoe under it. So I think we're just gonna part that one out. Might build something cool out of it, I don't know. Well, we're down to our last couple rounds in this farm. And we can move on to another one. Sounds like the elevator is going to be closed from Friday afternoon through the weekend. It doesn't look like we're going to be able to pick much corn over the weekend. We're thinking about maybe putting some in some grain bins, so we'll see what happens. So if that's the case, you get to witness on the channel putting corn in grain bins. What we'll probably do is we'll probably set up an auger and leave a wagon set at the bin and drive up with grain cart and the combines to just dump in the wagon and let the wagon go in the auger and into the grain bin. Works pretty good. Used to do that at my uncle's farm all the time. We had some couple big fields that had some grain bins built right there by the field. And that's what I do. I'd set up either one of the grain trucks, or later we had a drive over pit that we could drive the hopper bottoms over. I'd just leave a hopper bottom sit there and I'd just drive up with the grain cart and fill the one compartment of the hopper bottom. And sometimes what I do is I just let it run slow and just let the auger run and unload it while I was out getting more to put in the hopper bottom. Just made sure I didn't leave the door open too far, so if something did happen, it wouldn't make a big mess. But if you just let it continually flow, you don't have to run it very fast to have the hopper bottom empty by the time you got back. And I'd always stay close to it. I'd keep an eye on it. Like I'd go dump a combine, come back and sit close enough where I could watch it. So if something did happen, I could run over real quick and shut everything off. Worked out real well. We're getting pretty full, that's why I slowed down. As soon as I turn, I know my alarm's going to go off for being full. So I'm going to head back to the truck and dump. Well, Dad's got to get the last 16 rows. I am full, so I'm going to head up to the truck and unload. See Dad coming across up on top of the hill there with the 2388. We actually had a really good day today. Got a little bit of a late start, but we got quite a bit of corn out. We picked about, I want to say about 50 acres today. When you're in good corn, it takes a while. Just getting rid of all that shell corn, getting it to the elevator, takes time. George is doing a hell of a job of getting it hauled out of the field, that's for sure. Well, I think this is a good stopping point for this video. So, thank you for watching. Greatly appreciate it. We'll see you all in the next one.